You're walking down a crowded street. Someone collapses ahead of you. For a fraction of a second, you don't move. You glance around, waiting to see what everyone else does first. That hesitation has a name, and it might be the most predictable thing your brain ever does. You'd probably guess that more people around means more help available, more eyes, more hands, more chances someone steps in. But the real answer is far stranger than that. The more people standing around you, the less likely any single one of you is to act, including you. This isn't a flaw in your character. It's a switch in your brain that flips the moment a crowd forms, and almost nobody knows it's happening to them. In 1964, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment in New York. The story that spread claimed dozens of neighbors did nothing. Later reporting complicated those numbers, but the case caught the attention of two psychologists, Bibb Latané and John Darley, and changed how science understands behavior in a crisis. Their question was simple: why does a crowd of witnesses sometimes produce less helping behavior than a single witness alone? They called it the bystander effect. In 1968, Latané and Darley placed people in a waiting room, alone or in groups, filling out a questionnaire. Then they pumped smoke through a vent. Something was clearly wrong. Alone, people reported the smoke about 75% of the time, fast. In groups of 3 strangers, that number collapsed below 40%. Nobody panicked. They just sat in a hazy room, glancing sideways, waiting for someone else to react first. Why would a crowd be slower to respond than one person alone? Two forces work together: diffusion of responsibility. Alone, the weight sits entirely on you. With others present, your brain assumes someone else will handle it. Divided weight feels lighter. Pluralistic ignorance. You glance at people around you to gauge how serious things are. They glance back, doing the same. Everyone performs calm while privately unsure and reads everyone else's calm as proof nothing is wrong. A room full of worried people accidentally manufactures the appearance of a room full of unworried people. Your ancestors didn't build this mechanism by accident. For most of human history, you lived in small bands where every alarmed look meant something real. In a crowd of strangers, that signal breaks down. Anonymity is the missing ingredient, not compassion. But the story gets stranger still. In 1973, psychologists John Darley and Daniel Batson ran an experiment at Princeton Theological Seminary. Students training to help others were asked to walk across campus and give a talk. Some were assigned the parable of the Good Samaritan, about stopping to help a stranger. On the walk, every student passed a man slumped against a wall, moaning in distress. You'd expect students about to preach on compassion to stop almost universally. It wasn't close. The single biggest predictor of whether a student stopped wasn't the topic assigned. It was whether they'd been told they were running late. Some literally stepped over the man's legs on their way to give a talk about stopping for a stranger in need, not hypocrisy. Urgency hijacks attention before morality has a vote, so what actually breaks the bystander effect? Specificity. The spell shatters the instant a bystander stops being anonymous. If someone points at one witness and says, "You in the blue jacket, call an ambulance," the diffusion evaporates. The weight lands on one person and specific people act. CPR courses teach exactly this. A vague shout activates almost no one. A direct assignment activates almost everyone. Knowing the mechanism doesn't just explain history, it explains your week. Think about the last time you saw something online that needed a response. You probably assumed someone more qualified would step in instead. Everyone scrolling past that same post was very likely thinking the identical thought about you. The bystander effect didn't disappear online. It just found a larger room with millions of silent witnesses instead of dozens, each assuming the others have it covered. And the fix scales the same way. A single direct message to one coworker, a comment tagging one specific person instead of posting into the void. The math that splits responsibility among a crowd cannot survive being pointed at one person directly. So you're walking down a crowded street again. Someone collapses ahead of you. This time you already know what's happening inside everyone around you. the quiet math of diffusion, the borrowed calm of pluralistic ignorance, the forces that once stalled seminary students and silenced a room full of smoke. And maybe that's enough. Because the moment you understand everyone else is waiting too, the hesitation stops feeling like permission to wait and starts feeling like the signal to move first.